And then after 7 straight weeks of football, how big was having the week to revitalize and kind of, Zach was just talking about how he's feeling a lot better after just a week off. How big of a deal was that for you guys physically?
Bye weeks, when they're well timed like this, are appreciated. It's great to focus back on your own individual fundamentals and technique without the stress of prepping for a game that's coming up that week. And then, like Zach was saying, how we were able to focus on our strength and our speed and conditioning and continue to improve physically. So it was really good for a lot of guys and really good for me as well.
Chandon, I asked Kalani earlier. I've noticed you don't wear knee braces during the game, and there's a lot of guys in the NFL. It's kind of a personal choice in terms of that, but a lot of college programs require offensive linemen to wear them. Why don't you wear them? What's the reasoning behind that?
So we have the option to wear them or not. It's required to wear them in practice, so I do there. But then Coach Mateos is like, if you don't want to, you don't have to wear them during a game. And so I tried it and I really enjoyed it, and so I will be continuing to do that.
Does it help, I guess, with your lateral ability? 'Cause I know you guys do a lot of the zone stuff. Does it help you go side to side better?
I feel like I'm faster, so I'm seeing good benefits from it, and so it'll continue.
All right, let's hear from Jay Drew, Mitch Harper, and Jason Shepard.
Chandon, on the success in the red zone that you guys are experiencing, how much of practice this year has been dedicated to that, at least in team sessions?
Red zone is a huge emphasis for us. Last year wasn't our best at red zone production, and so over the off season we spent a significant amount of time over it. And through this season, that has continued. We are installing it and talking about it earlier. We spend a good chunk of time on it, and it benefits. The benefits of it are clearly being seen as we're able to get the goal that we have.
And then, have you done anything in your personal life to avoid COVID? Anything out of the ordinary? Changed roommates or anything like that to basically to ward this virus off?
So I'm I'm not the most social person in the world, and so I haven't had to change too much. I go to class, I go to football, and then I'm at home. So I live in a basement, so I didn't necessarily have to change too much. So nothing too crazy.
And you're not married, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Probably for that reason.
Chandon, in a week where you guys are viewed as a large favorite, what keeps you dialed in? What keeps you guys focused for a game where everyone's just saying you're gonna show up and blow them out?
It's frankly that prediction doesn't matter. There have been games where there's upsets every week. Of every team that plays, half of them lose. And a team like this coming in here on a bigger stage, they're going to come juiced up and ready to play. They're going to give us their very best shot, and if we are not prepared for it, then we'll lose the game. And so we have to have that mindset of anybody can beat you. And so that's how we approach our week, and that's how we approach each drill and each play, in that we have to be at our best in order to win the game.
And Kalani said earlier that there's still areas for you guys to improve. I mean, maybe on the offense side, this offense has been the best it's been in years. What specific areas are you guys trying to improve on the offensive side of the ball?
It's in each phase of the offense, there is something to improve on. For the O-line, we work on constantly setting the right hip angle on certain plays, making sure we have the right read on a defender in a pass situation. There's little and small things that you may only make a mistake with it here and there, but it's a mistake nonetheless. And so you focus on those small details in the technique to improve and be a better player, because none of us are perfect. None of us have graded close to 100% yet. And so there's a reason for that, and you need to identify it and work on that.
Thanks.
I know that you guys, really talk about not looking about what other people are saying and things like that. It's all about improving, but the offense in general, for obvious reasons, has gotten a lot of attention. How much fun is it, though? Because everybody likes to be acknowledged. How much fun is it to know that college football is paying attention to what the BYU offense is doing this year?
It's nice to see the improvement that our team has made. It's great to see that we are playing well and that's being recognized. But it also is, like Zach said, we're not done yet. And so when the season is, wrapped up, finished, there's a little bow on it, is when you can sit back and be like, man, that was a really awesome year, great season. But in the midst of it, if you get satisfied, that's when you're vulnerable and you can lose it. And the first people to praise you are sometimes the first people to criticize you. And so you take everything with a grain of salt.
All right, let's jump back to Jared Lloyd and Jake Hatch.
So Chandon, Kalani said earlier that you guys cross-train offensive, defensive line. So if it comes down to needing it because of COVID or whatever reason, some of the defensive linemen could step in on the offensive side. Who's the best? Who would you want to be next to if you were in that situation and needed those guys to step up?
If I needed to pull a defensive lineman over to play with us, the first choice that I would probably take would be Caden Hawes, because he played with us for a while, and so we wouldn't have to teach him very much. And so playing with somebody that knows what they're doing is super valuable. So he'd be the first choice just because of his knowledge of what our offense is trying to accomplish.
The other thing I was going to ask just really quick, it's the Thanksgiving season. You guys have obviously focused on gratitude all year long. Kalani's harped on it. We've heard it from all the players. How big of a difference has that made emotionally as you're dealing with all of the stresses of COVID to have that focus be in your life like constantly as part of this football team?
That's one of the greatest things that Kalani has done for me personally, is after every game, after practice, he's always saying, you're here because of your family and because of the other people that you've played with, and always finding ways to express your gratitude for even the opportunity to be here. And then having the crazy year that it has been, having just even the chance to play is a huge deal. We're very grateful for our staff, Tom, and all he's done to get a schedule going. We're grateful for our trainers and making sure that we follow the right COVID protocols. There's been a lot that goes on to make it possible, and we're just grateful that everybody's been able to be successful and gotten us to where we can have a season.
Chandon, a little bit of a two-parter here for you. First off, we see you play both right tackle and right guard. First part of the question is, what's the difference between the two? What's the chief differences between the two? And then second, which one do you prefer?
So differences between the two, I feel like at guard, everything happens a lot faster, just because the guy is significantly closer to you, which makes it exciting and has some pros and cons to it. And then in like pass protection, you have to be aware of both sides of you to much more of extent because you're working with people on both sides. And at tackle, you're against a guy that's a little bit smaller, but he's probably faster than you, and you're going backwards in pass protection. So it kind of adds a whole new element and interesting situation to it, which is challenging in and of itself. So they're both different in those ways, but they're both great. I really don't have a preference. I'll go where our coaches see fit, where I'll play best and benefit the team for that particular game.
You heard from any feedback NFL-wise where they think you end up at the next level, either spot?
I've heard different feedback from different people, from my coaches, from different scouts and agents and whatnot, but it's still up in the air. Probably something of a swing position is my guess, but I don't know.